Friday Flow. Here we go. I really hope that my ancestors are watching because, shit, this is a show and a half. Healing. I can't imagine that it doesn't, like, summon some type of, like, ancestral energy, you know? Like, you're calling the troops, you know? It's like, all right, come on, let's go. Um, as I heal, as I change, as I go through everything, patterns, hardwired patterns, right? The act of like taking yourself out of autopilot when you're in a situation with somebody, you know. It's kind of I think of Super Mario when he eats the mushroom and all of a sudden he's like right, like you wake up from autopilot and then you're like, I don't want to overshare. I'm going to set this boundary because, quite honestly, your energy sucks. I don't like your vibes. You can keep them over there. I'm going to do my thing over here, right? Not just being the container and taking all of the energy on, right? Um, just approaching things differently. You know, the cool thing to me that I'm really seeing now that's very different from how I've seen things in the past is that, like, it's not just about breaking patterns and choosing to not overshare or to set that boundary, right? Or to not do the drama and gossip game, right? Um, but it's also like tapping into thinking about, like, okay, well, in my case, you know, okay, well, how does Chris want to be in this situation? Does Chris want to be different than he has been in the past? And that doesn't, different doesn't mean inauthentic. Different just means in every single moment of life, I am being reborn. So I choose how I want to approach things, right? I could do a little dance. I could do whatever I want, right? I could do a handstand. I could sing. Like, what I'm looking at now goes beyond the, all right, I don't want to overshare because I don't need to. That's a pattern. I'm used to doing it. I'm used to the, I'm used to just like the fucking vomiting of all of that. I'm used to the drama. I'm used to the gossip. I'm used to wondering if somebody else is having a worse time with life than I am. It's fucking crazy to say that though. Like, when I look at it, like when you're not happy, like when you're genuinely unhappy with life, right? Sometimes you hope that other people, I mean, depending on who you are, right? You might hope that other people are doing worse than you are, right? And so that's actually why drama and gossip can be kind of, I guess seductive is the word, right? It's got a bit, it's like, it's enticing because it's like, shit, my life sucks. Let's see whose is worse, right? So now it's all about, like, what I'm looking for is what I'm consciously creating is beyond the breaking the pattern of oversharing, breaking the pattern of giving into drama and gossip and all this, that, and the other, the familiarity and the comfort. Now what it's actually about is like, it's a matter of personality, right? It's a matter of who Chris is. And actually, it's looking to me like access to that is much more open when you deal with the breaking of the pattern that you're used to. Because you think, feel, and behave a very specific way when what it is that you're used to and what it is that you normally give into is the oversharing, is the drama and the gossip, everything. The way that a person composes themselves, everything. It's all about that. Like, and so, like, I think about it this way, right? Like, I'm a full-time YouTuber, right? I love it. I also recognize that in order to be a full-time YouTuber, my energy has to be a very specific way. Therefore, I have to consider, okay, well, what does what does it mean to be a full-time YouTuber, right? My thoughts, my feelings, my behaviors. Um, I'm like consistently working with ideas, right? And this is not something that I always used to think about, right? I would argue that this is probably something more recent, right? But once you there is a very specific set of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that come with specific patterns that we play out in life, right? So if you give in to oversharing, by the way, it's not good or bad, right? But it is a matter of healthy versus unhealthy. If you give in to oversharing, if you give into, not really having healthy boundaries, if you give into the drama and the gossip and all that stuff, there are actually very specific thoughts and feelings and even behaviors that come with that, right? But instead, if you approach it from the standpoint of, I'll do the somewhat nonverbal Mario taking a mushroom and waking the fuck up, and he's like, right? And you wake up from that, and you're like, oh shit, I don't want to overshare. This person doesn't need to know, and that costs me energy and time, and they'll find out some way, or they won't, because that's boundaries, right? Or, I do want to set this boundary because this person's energy is all over the fucking place, and it's kind of hard for me to not take on their energy because I do care about them, but I'm really tired of it. Or, the drama and the gossip. Why am I so tuned into other people's lives? Why do I talk about people when I'm not around them? Right? Why do I seek to feel better about myself knowing that somebody else's life is in a worse place? That's not healthy, right? And so there are very specific thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that come with all of those experiences. And they keep they keep a person trapped inside of that. But when you instead choose not to indulge in that, break that pattern of thinking, feeling, and behaving, and don't conduct yourself in a way that would have you acting that way in social situations, you actually open yourself up to different ways of looking at things. Right? Because if you didn't know that it's actually unhealthy to overshare for many different reasons, the expenditure of energy, the amount of time that it takes, how you feel afterwards, do you even feel seen or heard? What is the experience like? Do they even give a fuck about what you're telling them? There are all these things that go into it, right? And that's why it's really important to break patterns, because the patterns themselves bring the person to experience life in a very specific way through thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And you're going to continue to play out those patterns until you do anything about it, right? So the act of actually choosing not to indulge in something like oversharing or drama or gossip, it might be challenging because, I suppose the word is neurochemically, you're very used to it. So it's like, shit, I'm not getting my high of finding out that someone's doing far fucking worse than me. I mean, it's not healthy as it is, right? Like, it's not healthy to find out that somebody's doing worse than you are because you're fucking miserable with your life. But some people get that, and I mean, it is what it is, They probably don't feel that good about themselves. But when you break the pattern, it's like, think about it this way. Imagine that this is the way that it works, right? You have access to this right here, right? And this is only when you indulge in oversharing or, not having the boundaries to not take on other people's energies, or drama and gossip, right? That's just this, right? But if you break that pattern, you open yourself up to this. Oh, I don't have to do that. Oh, like literally, like my entire life has been one fucking massive, oh, I don't have to do that. Oh, I don't have to overshare. Oh, I can set a boundary and not take on somebody else's energy. oh, I don't have to give in to drama and gossip, but I'm really fucking familiar with and comfortable with all of it. So, you can break the pattern and choose to experience things in a drastically different way. And that is really exciting. It is. Because that moment where you're kind of like Mario taking the mushroom of, oh shit, I was on autopilot. I was giving in to things that aren't important to me. I was asleep. Is anybody else aware of what I'm going through right now? Right? It can always be different.